Ultimate Frisbee is a non-contact team sport which is played with a 175-gram flying disc. While originally called Ultimate Frisbee and later Ultimate Disc, the sport is commonly referred to as Ultimate. Ultimate originated in the fall of 1968 in Maplewood, New Jersey by students at Columbia High School. The earlier Columbia High School games had sidelines which were defined by the parking lot of the school and consisted of team sizes based on the number of players that showed up. Rutgers and Princeton, two teams who played the first intercollegiate American football game, were involved in the first intercollegiate ultimate competition on November 6, 1972. By the late 1970s, clubs were being represented in the United States and abroad, including teams such as the Condors from Santa Barbara, the Hostages located in Boston, and several teams located in Arkansas. In the UK, the University of Warwick and the University of Cambridge had some of the first clubs formed to promote Ultimate. The growth of the sport would lead to the formation of the UPA, or Ultimate Players Association, between the year 1979 and 1980. The objective of Ultimate is to score points by receiving a teammate's pass in the end zone. The outcome of a match is determined by one team achieving a predetermined number of points first. This rule prevents a team from running down the clock to win a match. Regulation Ultimate is played between two teams of 7 players. The number of players vary with respect to informal games. Substitutions are allowed between points, with teams generally consisting of no more than 20 players. Ultimate is played using a 175-gram disc, typically approved by the governing body responsible for the league or tournament. Outside of school settings, soccer as well as rubber football cleats are often worn to gain better traction. The field by which Ultimate is played on is typically marked outdoors on grass or on sand, although in many countries, particularly during cold winters, indoor play is promoted. Boundaries are marked by chalk lines and cones. The playing field is 70 yards by 40 yards. End zones are 25 yards deep, with the brick mark 19.5 yards away from the goal line. The brick mark is where the receiving team may elect to take possession if the disc goes out of bounds after crossing the goal line. To begin a match, players line up at the edge of their respective end zone, and the team which starts on defense throws or pulls the disc to the offensive team to begin play. The team that is chosen to start the match is usually chosen by flipping a coin, a disc, or holding a variation of paper, rock, scissors. The disc can be moved in any direction by completing a pass to a teammate. After catching a pass, a player is required to come to a stop as quickly as possible, and when they stop, they are only allowed to move their non-pivot foot. Players can throw the disc before stopping within the first couple of steps after they gain possession of the disc. When a player catches the disc, they have 10 seconds to pass it. This period is known as the stall, and each second is counted out by a defender or marker who must be standing within roughly 10 feet of the thrower. A player can keep the disc for longer than 10 seconds if no marker is within 3 meters, or if the marker is not counting the stall. If a defender or marker changes, then the new marker must restart the stall from 0. A point is scored in Ultimate when a player catches a pass in the end zone when his team is attacking. Current UPA rules allow a defensive team to score by intercepting a pass in the end zone they are defending. This play is referred to as a Callahan goal. After a point is scored, teams exchange ends. The team who just scored remains in that end zone, and the opposing team takes the opposite end zone. Play begins again with another pull. Changes of possession result when passes are incomplete. When this occurs, the defense immediately becomes the offense and gains possession of the disc where it comes to a stop on the field of play or where it first traveled out of bounds. Play does not stop because of a turnover. Turnovers usually occur via a throwaway, drop, block, interception, a disc going out of bounds, a person catching the disc out of bounds, or a stall which lasts more than 10 seconds. Stoppages of play may happen due to fouls. the result of contact between players, violations such as traveling with the disc, double teaming, picking, injuries, inclement conditions, substitutions, and timeouts. Each team during a match is allowed 2 timeouts per half. The halftime break occurs when one team reaches the halfway marker in the score, which is rounded up. For instance, if a game is going to 15, the halfway point would take place when the first team reaches 8 points. Ultimate is unique in that it has a spirit of the game. The spirit of the game, or SOTG, promotes a strong means of sportsmanship and respect, which places the responsibility for fair play on the player. Thus, highly competitive play is encouraged, but never at the expense of the bond of mutual respect between players, the rules of the game, or the joy of play. Actions such as taunting of opposing players, dangerous aggression, intentional fouling, or other detrimental behaviors are avoided at all times by players. The spirit of the game also allows for players to self-officiate games, with occasional help from spectators or observers as necessary. The strategies many teams use on offense vary depending on the objective of the team. Most strategies are created to produce open lanes on the field for the exchange of the disc between throwers and receivers. Other strategies seek to position players based on their skill attributes. Mids are usually players who have good cutting and maneuvering skills. They provide constant flow of the disc downfield with back or side cuts. Handlers are the first players to take a pull. Generally, these players are the most accurate throwers of the 7 players on the field. Longs are players who have the ability to run fast and make long back cuts into the end zone or downfield. These individuals should have field sense and be able to make accurate catches. Ultimate also has a host of defensive strategies used in gameplay. The force is one of the most basic defensive principles, allowing a marker to cut off the handler's access to one half of the field by aggressive blocking. One-on-one defense is the simplest and most often effective strategy in Ultimate. Individual players in this arrangement defend a specific offensive player or a mark, often throughout the whole game. A zone defense is utilized with defenders covering specific areas instead of one person. The area covered moves with the disc as it progresses down the field. Zone defenses are often used when defending a more athletic team or in the span of a long game to decrease fatigue. A junk defense uses both zone and man defenses. Many types of pickup games are found in the sport of Ultimate, the most famous of which are hat tournaments. These tournaments are ones in which players join individually rather than as a team. The tournament organizers in these situations form teams by randomly taking the names of the participants from a hat, taking into account skill, experience, sex, age, height, and fitness level of the players, in the attempt to form teams of even strength. In most cases, these tournaments are created to emphasize the formation of new connections throughout the Ultimate community. There are a host of terms used to describe techniques used in Ultimate. The greatest is used to describe a play in which a player jumps from within bounds to catch a disc that has been passed out of bounds. The player then must throw the disc back in bounds before his feet or any other part of his body touches the ground. Double happiness is when a defender blocks an opponent's pass in the end zone and immediately goes down to the other end and scores. An O'Malley results when each player on the team touches the disc before scoring. A hospital throw results when a high floating pass has the effect of bringing 2 or more players together into a collision as they sky for the disc. A huck refers to a very deep pass in Ultimate. An air bounce is a backhand or forehand throw that is aimed slightly downward but is buoyed by a cushion of air. Now that you have the basics, consult the text for more information. See you on the field.